The Premier League's back, Manchester United are back, and normally I'd be really excited going into this massive game. Manchester United away at Stamford Bridge, big game for Manchester United, but I'm not confident at all going to Stamford Bridge. Never have been in recent years. In the last 15 or so years, never been confident. We've only won once there in God knows how long, and they had 9 men. And I mean, if the game's not played on paper, yes, but Manchester United are going in such underdogs for this contest that most people probably think that Manchester United beat them before we even get on the pitch. And to be honest, I'm really not confident at all that Manchester United are going to get even a draw out of this game. If we do, I'll be very, very surprised. And if Manchester United get a draw, I would take that right now. I would bite your hands off for a 0-0 result in this. That is how bad things have been of late. Yes, we did have that win against Newcastle, but you look how poor Manchester United were when we went 2-0 down. The likes of, Ashley Young, Jesus Christ, got to fuck off now. Come on, man. You've been an okay servant to Manchester United, but come on, man. This is the club's fault. We shouldn't still be having fucking shit in the team like Ashley Young. Right, and in this game we've got injury concerns to deal with. Players out of form. Oh, this is just so horseshit for Manchester United. What are we going to do? Right, De Gea will be in goal for this one. And right back it's going to be Ashley Young, because Valencia has probably fallen out of favour with Jose Mourinho after his comments. After the Instagram post that he liked, calling for Jose Mourinho to get the sack. So he's probably not going to play again for Manchester United under Jose Mourinho until Jose Mourinho gets the bullet. So it's going to probably be Ashley Young at right back. Left back will obviously be Luke Shaw after his bumping new contract. The two centre backs will be Lindelof and Smalling, I think. It could well drop to a back three. That is something I can see happening for Manchester United, but I'm going to say that we go with them two centre halves to start the game with. I'm going to go with a midfield three of Pogba, Matic and Herrera. That's what I think Jose Mourinho is going to go for in this one. There's question marks over whether Matic is fit and Fellaini, but I think he's going to put Herrera in there, and I think he's going to try and get him doing a man marking job on Hazard yet again for this one. But Hazard is the main threat for Manchester United from Chelsea, but Chelsea have still got other players that could cause Manchester United all sorts of problems. So he's not the only player. He's just that he's been so good this season for Chelsea. But it is going to be interesting to see how Manchester United line up going forward as well. Do we go with Romelu Lukaku? Yes, we will do, definitely. And then who goes out in the wide positions? Will he go for Rashford and Martial, which would be an exciting front three for Manchester United, with Martial scoring in the last game, nice taken finish, to be honest, and Marcus Rashford scoring on international duty, or does he bring in have someone in there like Juan Mata in there, or I don't know whether Alexis Sanchez is going to feature tomorrow. That is going to have to be, we're going to have to wait to see on that one, but to be honest, I can't really see him going all out attacking this at all. Which is why I think he's going to put Herrera in there and put him man marking Hazard to try and nullify Hazard's threat, because he obviously is the main threat for Chelsea. Certainly this season they've relied on him a lot more with the lack of goals from Olivier Giroud and Morata. I'm not too sure which one of them is going to start this game, to be honest. Morata hasn't really been in the best of form at all, and neither has Giroud been scoring goals. So I'm not too sure there, but the main, obviously Hazard's the main threat. But for Manchester United, I'm not too sure what's happened to Alexis Sanchez. There's reports that he hasn't travelled with the team, but there's also reports that he could be already in London after the international break. So we will have to wait and see. I'm not sure actually if he did feature for Chile in the international break. I know he didn't actually score any goals in them games. I did see that, but I'm not too sure if how much of them games he even featured in, whether he featured at all or what. He didn't feature in the previous international break, so I'm not too sure, but hopefully he can be in and around the squad. There are some players that are out of this game as well. I think Delot is out of it. I think McTominay is out of it. So there are players that aren't in and around the squad. I think Rojo's back now, so it might be getting a bit stronger in that department, because Rojo probably could slot in the centre of defence at some point over the next few weeks. It would be a better option for Manchester United than playing Herrera at centre half or Scott McTominay at centre half. I think even though Rojo isn't everyone's biggest fan, I would still back him to be in the squad ahead of Phil Jones, who's just an absolute fucking calamity, and I'm not even sure Smalling should be in the centre of defence. But I think this defence is just too bad for Manchester United to get any sort of result against Chelsea. I would love to think that Manchester United could go there and fuck Chelsea over and win 1-0 or something, but I just cannot see Manchester United keep a clean sheet against Chelsea in the Premier League. I mean, they've got some other very good attacking players. We're not too sure which ones will start. Would it be Willian? Is Pedro fit? Who's going to start in attack? But Chelsea have some really good players in there. I mean, in midfield, N'Golo Kante, absolute fantastic player for Chelsea. So they've got some really good players. Lots of Alonso attacking back, full back. So they've got a lot of options going forward, and they're fairly decent in defence as well, pretty solid. So it might be hard for Manchester United to even break this Chelsea team down, because we haven't been free flow scoring goals at all this season. Although our defending has been absolutely fucking dreadful this season. I can't remember the last time it was so shit for Manchester United. I think Chelsea are really going to look to exploit Ashley Young if he does play, because I'm sorry, but Ashley Young is horrendous at defence. We just cannot keep playing him. If Diogo Dalot is injured, then I understand. But if he doesn't want to play Valencia anymore, and Valencia's not good enough either, we should be looking to bring Diogo Dalot in and play him on a regular basis. He's spent fucking 19 odd million pounds on the player. Yes, he's a young player, but he's going to make mistakes. But Ashley Young's making fucking horrendous mistakes against Newcastle, which put us 2 goals behind. So what the fuck is the problem? You might as well let a guy learn his trade while playing games, getting experience, when you're playing bloody fucking Ashley Young and he's making mistakes, who's past his best and should have been cleared out after we won the Europa League. When we won the Europa League 2 years ago, bye-bye Valencia, bye-bye Ashley Young. That is a big, massive problem for Manchester United at the back. We still haven't sorted out that centre-back positioning either, which is where I think Chelsea could exploit as well, with the likes of Willian and maybe Morata and Hazard. It just frightens me to think going into this game on the back of that game against Newcastle, where we were 2 goals down in no time. And if you do that against this Chelsea team, you're not going to be. We're going to struggle to put 3 past this Chelsea team. I mean, I know we did come back from behind 2-0 down against Man City away last year, but this Manchester United team is playing horseshit, and we're probably not going to do that. We also need a massive performance tomorrow from Romelu Lukaku up front. I mean, he's been out of form for Manchester United. He did get a couple of goals on international break. Hopefully that gives him the boost going into this game, but he's got to start scoring goals again, because we know he can go on a run, score 5-6 goals, but then sometimes he goes a few games without a goal, which can hurt Manchester United. I mean, he's getting so much criticism at the moment, which I think it's a bit unfair, because the other players have got to step up to the plate as well. In the past, when Manchester United have had a player, well, I mean, we've had world-class centre forwards. I'm not saying he's the top of the tree, I'm not saying he's world class, but he is a good striker and will score goals. But Manchester United have always had players, good players, that have scored goals up front. We've had even the likes of Hernandez, Berbatov, who have been good, great players, maybe not world-class players, but we've had other players, the likes of Wayne Rooney, I mean, Carlos Tevez, players of that ilk that have also been chipping in with 15 to 17 league goals, which we don't have for Manchester United at this moment in time. Anthony Martial is very, very inconsistent. Marcus Rashford still isn't hitting them heights at this moment of scoring 15 or 16 league goals in a Premier League season, and that is a massive problem for Manchester United. I'm trying to heavily rely on Romelu Lukaku's goals. We need to take that pressure off Romelu Lukaku, and at some point over the next few weeks, I'd like to see, maybe when we play the return leg against Young Boys or something like that, to see Marcus Rashford given that opportunity down the middle to show what he can do in maybe an easier game with a bit less pressure. Obviously this game is going to be massive for Manchester United, and to be honest, we probably should go with Marcus Rashford and Romelu Lukaku up front, to be honest, a bit like what England did do with having Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford up there. But I know he's never going to do that, and he likes to play that one striker up there with 2 players out in the wider positions, but we will have to wait and see what happens anyway. But Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial just need to be more consistent. I don't think it's all Jose Mourinho's fault. Yes, he could give either of the players a good run in the team, which is the only thing with Gareth Southgate. He performed pretty poorly in that game against Croatia, missing a good couple of chances, Marcus Rashford, but then he was still in the team for the following game, where that is the problem at Manchester United. Manchester United are not winning games. The pressure is on Jose Mourinho to win games, and if Marcus Rashford doesn't perform in the team, then he could well be out for the following game because the pressure is so massive compared to that of that England team at the moment. I think that might be a bit of the reason, but we will have to wait and see. But I'm not too confident Manchester United are going to get the win in this game at all. I think Chelsea are going to win the game. I think Chelsea are going to win it 2-0, which probably will be the final nail in the coffin for Jose Mourinho, to be honest, because he will have so much, just too much to turn it around, I think, because we've got Juventus coming up after that, and these two teams are probably two of the best teams in Europe at the moment, which is just crazy to think that Manchester United could probably get. I mean, we could easily, these two teams could easily swap Manchester United aside in these two games. I hope they don't. I hope Manchester United can get results against both of them, but I'm just not confident at this moment in time that we're going to do it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in it. Are you confident Manchester United maybe could get a draw here? And in yesteryear, this would be a good result at Chelsea. I mean, a draw would be seen as a good result. I know we're in a bad position at this moment in time, and we do need the 3 points, but getting a draw at Stamford Bridge has always been a good result in the Roman Abramovich era. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Yes, Manchester United should be going to every game to win every game, but you can't always do that. And even Man City couldn't against Liverpool, and were pretty poor in that game. So I think Pep Guardiola's wised up to that you can't always go to these bigger teams and always turn them over, playing free-flowing football every time. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this game. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.